That's how it feels when you work with Cintas. Your dedicated Cintas service reps get to know your business and have the industry knowledge that can help you prepare for what's ahead. They'll deliver your team's workwear freshly laundered. Make sure your first aid and safety supplies, mats, mops, and towels are stocked when you need them. And your fire extinguishers are inspected and in working order. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
You're invited to enjoy 50% off your purchase during the semi-annual Friends and Family event only at Banana Republic Factory. Shop this week only for limited time prices at your nearest Banana Republic Factory store or online.
This world has its limits, but in the all-new, all-electric Nissan Ariya, you've got a world of possibilities. You can leave it all behind in serene interiors, or you can go after it with available e-Force all-wheel drive. Go your way in the all-new, all-electric Nissan Ariya. Nissan Ariya with e-Force not yet available for purchase. Expected availability early 2023, subject to change. E-Force all-wheel drive is an optional feature. E-Force cannot prevent collisions or provide enhanced traction in all conditions. Always monitor traffic and weather conditions.
It's fun to dream big with the New Jersey Lottery. Just remember, life is all about balance. Never treat the lottery as an alternative to work. For more tips, visit njlottery.com/responsible play.
Sports is what we do.
You're in your car, you're in your house, you're wherever you are. You're a sports fan.
97.3 ESPN.
Because if you weren't a sports fan, you wouldn't be listening.
WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City. A town square media station serving all of South Jersey. This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app. Now, live from the Matt Black Kia Studios.
Oh, what a move!
Here's Josh Hennig.
Well, today has certainly been an interesting day in the NFL, especially for the Philadelphia Eagles, as we all kind of saw some of this coming, but I don't think any of us expected it to play out this aggressively. We're going to get to all the Eagles and NFL news that we can this hour. Rob Maaddi from the Associated Press is going to join us about 15 minutes from now as we will talk with Rob about all the NFL news. Today has been an absolutely insane, wild, crazy day when it comes to, all these movement around the league. As always, you can join the conversation at 609-403-0973 is the text board. You also can DM the show through the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Prerequisite before the show. Not going to have a lot of tournament talk today. This is going to be an NFL heavy hour. I'm going to be filling in for Mike Gill on Tuesday and Wednesday on the Sports Bash this week. So we will save a lot of that conversation for later in the week when I'm filling in for Mike Gill. But this hour is going to, be heavily about football. So for those who don't know what has happened today, the Eagles have officially lost 3 players who started on defense this season. It started right after 12 o'clock with TJ Edwards signing with the Bears. Shortly thereafter, you heard the news about Javon Hargrave becoming one of the highest paid D tackles in the NFL, going to the 49ers. And then just about 3-4 minutes ago, Adam Schefter reports, and it's been confirmed by Mike Garafolo of NFL Network, Marcus Epps has reached an agreement to sign with the Las Vegas Raiders. So, you lose your starting primary linebacker. You lose one of your starting safeties. And you lose your one of your best defensive linemen. By the way, a little more Eagles news. The Eagles have also lost Andre Dillard. He is signed with the Tennessee Titans on a 3-year contract. So, and as I said at the top of the show, we expected some of this to happen. Look, we went into 12 o'clock today knowing the Eagles had 19 free agents. And I was telling somebody earlier today, Look, you can anticipate the Eagles keep 9 of those 19, but they're going to lose 10. You can't keep everyone in today's NFL. And teams like the Bears, they have money to spend. 49ers, you knew they were going to be aggressive in free agency. The Raiders are interesting because the Raiders gave Jimmy Garoppolo a contract that is very team-friendly with heavy incentives in that deal. So it's fair to say that we all knew that Dillard was gone. I think we assumed that Hargrave was going to leave, was the assumption. I don't think that we anticipated, though, Edwards being out the door so quickly. And whatever Marcus Epps is getting to go to the Raiders, it must be pretty nice of a deal, because there's no way you can tell me that Epps was going to make some big money. By the way, according to Tom Pelissaro right now, Epps is getting a 2-year, $12 million deal with $8 million guaranteed. So at worst, he's going to make $8 million for 2 years, and that's not a huge deal. So here's my takeaway from what has happened so far with the Eagles today. Like I said, we all expected Dillard to go. He was not coming back. We also all expected Hargrave to get paid big money, and it probably wouldn't be in Philadelphia if we were being honest. To me, I think the Edwards and Epps moves are the most surprising, because Epps getting 2 years, $12 million sounds like a deal he could have gotten from Philadelphia. But maybe the Eagles, they're saving up their money to try to re-sign C.J. Gardner-Johnson and James Bradbury. There's a strong possibility that's the direction they're going in. I also think that we're not bringing back Edwards means they're going to overhaul the linebacking core, and it'll have Nakobe Dean maybe start next to somebody else next season. I know some Eagle fans are already talking about the possibility of maybe a Bobby Wagner or an Eric Kendricks being that linebacker. Well, the problem is Wagner is going to get paid more than Edwards. Okay, you're talking about a guy in Edwards who he's getting a 3-year deal, $12 million guaranteed, worth up to $19.5 million. So at minimum, he is getting what it looks like, at least, a chunk of money up front. Oh, and then 3 years deal, probably more like a 2-year deal when it breaks out, when we get more details. That's way less than Bobby Wagner's valuation at $9 to $10 million, according to Spot Track and OverTheCap.com. So letting Edwards walk to get a guy like Edwards is probably not happening. Now, maybe you sign a guy like Kendricks, you get him on a 1-year deal, a prove-it deal, while you develop somebody else. There's a lot of speculation the Eagles still have interest in developing Davion Taylor coming off of an injury. So we'll see how that works out. But I got to tell you guys, I'm really surprised how quickly some of this has played out. And it seems like to me that Edwards, Hargrave, and now Epps being out the door all in about a 6-hour period, sounds like to me the Eagles basically told them, look, we're not prioritizing certain guys. And we're going to let some of these guys walk, and we got to make difficult decisions. I think that's what this is about. I genuinely think that Philadelphia knew that Edwards and Hargrave were not coming back. They must have, for the way this played out. I think maybe they tried to make a pitch to Epps, and maybe the Raiders just gave him more guaranteed money. I get the sense that is what happened with that. Obviously, we'll get more details as the days and weeks progress. But think about what you have heard over the weekend. Darius Big Play Slay came out on a podcast, said, look, I want to be in Philadelphia. This is where I want to be. I want to finish my career here. Well, Darius, Mr. Big Play Slay, has to work out a renegotiation of his contract if that's what he wants, because Philadelphia is not interested in taking the hit that will be Darius Slay's contract. Look, for those who don't know, Slay has a $17 million base salary coming to him this year with a prorated bonus of 8.6 and a workout bonus of $500,000, totaling a $26 million cap hit. It is such a heavy hit that even if they trade him, they're responsible for $20 million against the cap. So they need this guy to renegotiate his contract. And look, I'm not in those meetings, but I'm seeing a lot of guys around the league who are renegotiating their deals to open up salary cap space. From Cam Jordan's doing it. We've seen Nick Bosa do it in San Francisco. We're seeing a lot of guys around the league reworking their Tyreek Hill completely redid his deal to open up a ton of money for Miami. A big reason why Miami was able to acquire Jalen Ramsey. So I don't know what the holdup is for Darius Big Play Slay and the Eagles. But here's what I do know. I think that the moves we've already seen is a reflection of the fact that the Eagles are saying, we made a choice. And it sounds like to me that they said, Javon Hargrave, TJ Edwards, Marcus Epps, we love you, we appreciate you, but you are not our priority. And if losing those guys means that you get to keep James Bradbury and CJ Gardner-Johnson, then you know what? Sometimes you gotta pick the red pill or the blue pill. It's in the Matrix. It sounds like the Eagles have already made their choice. We'll get deeper into this with Rob Maaddi from the Associated Press coming up next here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM and 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle.
Sign up now for this year's $1 Million Bracket Challenge. Registration is underway now at 973ESPN.com and the free mobile app until the tournament begins.
Hell yeah!
Brought to you by
Progressive Fence and Railing, serving South Jersey for over 20 years. Call them at 609-800-8428.
Register for the $1 Million Bracket.
With GM financing, the qualified buyers excludes Corvette.
It's back! That's right! March Markdown is back at Bennett Chevrolet. And this year, the savings are bigger and better than ever, with huge savings on every vehicle, because we need to move out over 200 of them right now. Believe it or not, Bennett Chevrolet is selling new vehicles at GM supplier employee pricing for everybody. Plus, there's available 0% financing. And Bennett is giving a minimum $10,000 for the worst clunker towards any pre-owned vehicle in stock. That's at least $10,000 for total junk. Just imagine how much Bennett is paying for good trades. And Bennett's non-commissioned sales team is a delight to work with because they're paid on your satisfaction, not how much you spend. Don't miss March Markdowns going on now at Bennett Chevrolet, and get your new Chevy at GM supplier employee pricing, 0% available financing, and at least $10,000 for any trade towards any pre-owned in stock. Find new roads at Bennett Chevy, Egg Harbor Township, and BennettChevy.com.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Haley, quote, Navage is the best thing I bought. I love it. My nose feels so clear now and I can breathe. I've been struggling with a stuffy nose for weeks. I bought Navage and it's amazing. Or this one. I use Navage every night, could not imagine life without it. I have 5 cats, and before I found Navage, I was a clogged mess. Now I breathe so much better, unquote. Those are 2 of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
Businesses don't run on automation or algorithms alone. What powers businesses are your people and the people they serve. At Cintas, your dedicated service reps understand what you need to help you keep your employees feeling safe, comfortable, and performing their best. So your business can too. For workwear, essential cleaning products, first aid and safety supplies, and fire protection services, visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Breaking news. Tax refund shock is everywhere, but what is it?
My tax refund shrank.
Mine too.
The culprit? Pandemic-related stimulus payments and tax credits expiring. In this reporter's opinion, you need a tax expert.
Hey guys, Jackson Hewitt guarantees your biggest refund.
And tax prep is 50% off? Going there now.
50% off is a limited time offer for new clients filing at participating locations. Max value $200. Visit jacksonhewitt.com/50 for terms.
Do you love a good cigar almost as much as your family? Well, maybe that's an exaggeration, but you can find that perfect cigar at Smokers Haven. With 5 New Jersey locations, Smokers Haven has the finest selection of cigars in the area, like Ashton, My Father's, Romeo and Julieta, Monte Cristo, and more. All from the finest tobacco leaves and hand-rolled by the world's finest cigar makers. All locations are fully open. Stop in and let them help you find the perfect cigar to pair with your life. See all they have and their locations at smokershavennj.com.
Introducing Total by Verizon, a new prepaid wireless provider with no contract plans starting at just $30 a month. With Total by Verizon, you don't have to sacrifice reliability or freedom. Get Total by Verizon and save money every month on America's most reliable 5G network. Get a Moto G Pure for only $39.99 at Kroger for a limited time. Device offer ends 3/28/23. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See latest terms and conditions at totalbyverizon.com.
Getting to know yourself can be a lifelong process, especially since you're always growing and changing. But deepening your self-awareness is the key to a happier, more fulfilled life. Therapy is all about that process of self-discovery, because sometimes you don't know what you really want until you talk things through. BetterHelp offers convenient online therapy on your schedule. It's the same professional service you'd get from an in-person therapist, but with the option to communicate when and how you want, by chat, phone, or video call. Plus, getting started is easy. Just go to their site and fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist. If you don't find the right match the first time, don't worry. You can switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Start on your own journey of self-discovery with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/growth today to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/growth.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage. You know, changing your oil with a full synthetic oil like Valvoline Advanced can help your engine get more miles. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP Extended Life Oil Filter for only $37.99. Get started on your next job today with the parts you need when you need them at AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
You like to move it.
At the United States Postal Service, we're reinventing our network to help keep your business moving. With new shipping options to deliver better value, greater flexibility to conveniently reach your customers, more confident shipping with new informed delivery features, and new electric vehicles for a cleaner, brighter future. Fast, reliable, perfectly orchestrated. The United States Postal Service, delivering for America. Learn more at USPS.com/moving forward.
Did you know that over 40 years ago, John Jenkins Sr. invented the heated seat that football players sit on? Yes, the Jenkins family created a way for football players to weather the extreme cold on frigid game days. Find out why homeowners and business owners count on Jenkins for the quality, service, and reliability you get from a 3-generation family-run company for plumbing, drain cleaning, and leak repairs. For gas furnace, boiler, or hot water heater replacements, call Jenkins at 609-641-6440 and ask about zero-interest financing. Online at jenkinsandsons.com.
You're listening to Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Back here on Game Night, 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. Oh, wait, how about the strange irony that today, the first day of legal tampering, with all of this Eagles news coming out, that Phillies, no spring training game. Flyers, no game. Sixers, off tonight. What are the odds of that happening? How crazy is that? Like, usually a night like tonight, like you get the off-season NFL news, and you're like, all right, well, there's another game to watch tonight. Literally, there's no game to watch tonight. You want to watch a game, you're not watching your team. If you're a Phillies sports fan, you're watching somebody else. unless you're really into the NIT or something. I mean, I'm certainly not. But over on the text board 609-403-0973 is the text board. Dan in EHT chimes in and says, Josh, in Howie we trust. Period. Listen, Dan EHT, I hear you. And I'm not here to question Howie because Howie has a long history of working around situations that happen, right? Howie is Howie's one of those guys that sees the big picture and not the short picture. So I'm sure that a lot of what's going on right now has in part to do with the Eagles saying, look, we're playing for the marathon and we're not playing for the sprint. And one of the problems is that more often than not, the teams that strike early in free agency, they're not always the teams that are successful. So, for example, you see some of these teams spending a lot of money right now. There's no guarantee that they are going to be successful long term. So, Dan EHT is right to text in at 609-403-0973 that Howie Roseman does have the track record of success to go out there and be able to do this. So we'll get into more of it right now. Rob Maaddi covers the NFL for the Associated Press. Obviously a very busy day for everyone covering the NFL, for people like Rob and others. And he joins us right now here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. Rob, I appreciate you jumping in here. I know today is absolutely insane. How you doing, my friend?
Oh man, it's I'm doing well. It's a crazy day. I'm just trying not to call someone by the wrong name because it's been a lot of a lot of phone calls and it's hectic, man. It's hectic, but it's
so it's one of those moves where like you're on the phone, you look at the phone again just to get so it pops up and shows you who is talking to.
Yeah, and you know it's great like when it's an agent that you haven't talked to in a long time, or someone who's a guy you haven't stored his number, right? And then you got to call out, but then you got to call back, but you're on another line, and now you don't know which guy. It's like save the number, put the name in, make sure it's always there. There's a lot, but it's fun. I'm trying to keep up with everything, and it's wild, but it's what it's all about, man. It's what it's all about.
Well, let's get to some of the news today. I think that for some people, as I was saying before you came on, Rob, I don't think people are necessarily surprised that Javon Hargrave and TJ Edwards found new homes. I think people were more surprised of how quickly they found new homes. It was the fact that it was literally in the first hour, both of them are getting those contracts. And I think some Eagle fans, that the quickness of it may have caught the regular Eagle fan off guard.
Yeah, well, the NFL legal tampering period starts at noon or started at noon on Monday. But the illegal tampering period started way back at the combine. So all these deals and all these conversations have already taken place, and it was just a matter of getting the other team to agree to it, getting the terms on the agents to agree to those numbers and the guarantees and all the fine details and the fine print and all that stuff, and they start filtering and coming out. At least it's noon on Monday. I remember when it was like midnight a few years back, several years back, and then you'd see guys like signing at 12:01 a.m. and you'd be like, wow, this is awesome. But I'm glad that they were able to begin the legal tampering period in at noon Eastern instead of like an odd number. But that's the truth of the matter is this, Josh. All these conversations have taken place with the agents, and they find their ways to discuss the stuff with teams, like the trades and everything else. Yeah, they'll be announced on Wednesday when the NFL's year starts.
Rob, we got you back?
Yep, I'm here.
All right, we got you. Yeah. You were there and then you're gone, then you're back. So we got technology. It's a beautiful thing. So to speak to that, you mentioned, so what does it say to you that Hargrave and Edwards are gone? Do you feel part of this was the Eagles' plan all along? Do you feel like the Eagles got outbid? Because obviously, when you have 19 free agents, you're not bringing back 19 guys. You know, I told people throughout the weekend, people kept asking me, Rob, I said, look, I think the Eagles' goal is probably to keep 9 of the 19 at this point.
Yeah, and I wasn't surprised by either one. And Marcus Epps is gone too, right? So
Raiders.
You lose Marcus Epps too as well. I think Javon Hargrave was good as gone at 30 years old. Just knowing how the Eagles have traditionally not giving that kind of big money deal to guys on the opposite side of 30. With the fact that they got Jordan Davis as a first round pick last year, it's understandable. I knew that was, you slot Jordan Davis in the middle of that defensive line. You let TJ Edwards go, and you got Nakobe Dean. So you already have replacements in-house ready to go. Both of those are understandable. I don't know about 9, Josh. It could be 9. It could be 10. It could be less, right? Good news is that Brandon Graham's coming back, and he's a nice piece at a very reasonable price, and he's a nice rotational piece coming off a career high in sacks. So, and he's such a high-energy, likable guy in the locker room, in the community. I thought that was a great move. Jason Kelsey announces he's coming back, so that's a great thing for the Eagles. Listen, they're going to look different. It's not going to be this. It's never the same team year after year. But when you have 19 free agents, 10, 11 guys who started in the Super Bowl, you're certainly going to go under some sort of a facelift of sorts. Now, can they lose guys and then replace them with capable, adequate, and maybe even improve in some areas? It's doable. It's possible. I think Howie Roseman has earned the right for people to believe in him, to trust in him. And we'll see how this plays out. It's early, man. There's still the second wave. There's still the third wave of free agency. We're not even through the first few hours of the legal tampering period.
When we talked before today started, a lot of the conversation was about who would the Eagles keep. So seeing all the safeties come off the board already, Rob, does that suggest to you that the Eagles are going to try to keep C.J. Gardner-Johnson, considering how many safeties are popping off the board already?
I think they're going to try, but it's going to still come down to the dollar amounts. Look at what Jesse Bates is getting. Right. 4 years, I think it was $64 million. These are big money deals, and he's gonna warrant a contract that's similar or close to those numbers. Panthers get Von Bell, so they're going to be hard pressed to be able to find a solution that's going to work for both, to make him happy in his agency and to make sure that it can fit within what the Eagles can reasonably afford to pay somebody at that position. You still got to worry about there's James Bradbury that they're most likely going to lose. And then what are they going to do with Darius Slay and his contract? Is it going to be a restructure? Is he going to be traded? There's a lot. There could potentially be a lot of moving parts in that secondary for a team that was number one in pass defense. That could be the biggest problem area, depending on how they figure things out over the course of this offseason.
When you think about this Eagles team next year, you and I talked last week about how many young players are going to step up for this Eagles team. In your mind, because you and I talked before the Brandon Graham news happened. Do you think Brandon Graham in part got locked up so quickly because the Eagles said we need a veteran in the locker room because we are going into a bit of a youth movement, that we want more, we need at least Brandon in here to watch over these guys?
Well, I think they locked him up because he wanted to avoid all of this. He wanted some security, make sure he wanted to stay. They gave the Eagles a hometown discount. I think the Eagles, in terms of leadership, are going to be in good shape regardless of what happens with Fletcher Cox if he moves on, because they still have a number of guys. Now, well, obviously Brandon Graham's important on the defensive side, but Lane Johnson, Jason Kelsey, the offensive side is taken care of in terms of leadership. I think BG certainly helps. I don't know how much of a factor that was in it. It certainly couldn't. It doesn't hurt his case that he's such a well-liked leader type of player on that team. But, man, he produced too. he showed up, showed out, and had 11 sacks. First time he had double digits, I believe, in his career. So good for BG staying put. And I'm going to be interested to see what happens with Fletcher Cox, because that could go a number of many ways.
Talking with Rob Maaddi from the Associated Press here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM and 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank. See, Rob, when you think about the players who have moved so far, the news today, has there been a specific player or team that has surprised you so far?
I'll start with one that I just reported on. Jamel Dean staying with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 4 years, $52 million, $26 million of that guaranteed. It was a little bit of a surprise because they got salary. Now they released some guys, they restructured some contracts, but they're going in rebuilding mode after Tom Brady leaves. And I didn't know that they can afford to pay a cornerback that kind of money, but they found a way to do that. When I look around, Patrick Peterson going to the Steelers is somewhat of a slight surprise, right? They lose Cam Sutton. He goes to the Lions today at a 3-year, I think that was $33 million, and they quickly act and bring in a well-traveled, well-proven veteran, an eight-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro, only on his third team, but his third team in the last 4 years in Patrick Peterson. He's up there in years, but I think they think they can get at least 2 years out of him, which is what they gave him. Jimmy G landing in Las Vegas seemed like a no-brainer. The fact that he's going and reuniting with Josh McDaniels I don't think that surprised anyone. I don't know what the odds were on going where and what had the best. I would have thought that would have been right up there. The trade that we didn't get a chance to talk about, or did we? I forget if we spoke on Thursday or Friday, Josh. But the Panthers and the Bears agreeing that trade, like that, reshaped the whole draft. With Justin Fields is obviously the Bears guy, but they were able to move that number 1 overall pick. Panthers are at number 1. Which quarterback are they going to go with? Like I thought that was a little bit of a surprise, because I thought they could have stayed where they were and still got a quarterback. Sam Darnold's going to the 49ers as a backup. Jarrett Stidham leaving the Raiders to go to Denver as a backup. You know, all these deals are they're people talked about this free agency period not being all that exciting, not being that great of a class. Well, there's a whole lot of movement in the first 5 hours of it, that's for sure.
We didn't talk about the Bears trade because we were talking on Thursday. You were correct, and not Friday. But it's interesting because you and I talked on Thursday about how Frank Reich is very specific historically about the type of people he wants as his quarterback. So I got to think that Frank in that team didn't trade up to 1 overall. Like, take the Bears out of the conversation. Like, to me, this is a sign that Frank is clearly zeroed in on somebody with that first overall pick.
Yeah, and there's still the possibility, Josh, they could trade out of that if they like 1 or 2 different guys. Here's the thought. If they love C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young, you got to get to 1 because you don't know what the Texans are going to do.
Right.
I don't think that Anthony Richardson is going to go at 2. And if he's the guy that they've zeroed in on, or Will Levis, they may be able to get him a little bit further down at 3, 4, 5. So the fact that as soon as that trade went down, and all of a sudden you start hearing from Panthers beat reporters, so clearly that came from the team trying to put it out there that, hey, we're still in business. If you want to call us, we're still considering trying to recoup some of what we traded. So we're not locked in or zeroed in on one specific guy. I thought it was interesting that it may have been Peter King who wrote this about Frank Reich and the quarterbacks that he's worked with in all his years as whether it was assistant coach, offensive coordinator, or a head coach. They've always been taller guys, 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", or taller. I believe he only had like 6 games in his entire career where the starting quarterback was less than 6'3", 6'4", which means Bryce Young at 5'10", is not that guy. But I also, knowing Frank, he's adaptable, he's adjustable. if he loves Bryce Young's game and he's fit for that NFL offense the way he prepared and was coached up by Bill O'Brien at Alabama, I don't think that will scare him off. So I'm not sure. CJ Stroud's got the build. Anthony Richardson and Will Levis has the build. I don't know where they're going to go, and I'm interested to see where that goes. I know I had conversations with CJ Stroud about his faith and Frank Reich, and I know that matters to Frank a little bit. So he's a fit, but so is Bryce Young. He's a strong man of faith, and he fits too. I'm not saying that's going to be the determining factor. I think these are all like slight, small intangibles that he would like.
Yeah, I'm personally, Rob, I know people keep bringing up Anthony Richardson, but I'm out on him, honestly. Like, I think this guy, he needs like 2-3 years to like sit behind somebody and like figure things out. I mean, that guy barely played in college. Even when he played in college, he had one good game. And I mean, that's less than Trubisky when he was in college. And look how that turned out for him. So I'm with you, though. I think that Stroud makes a lot of sense for Frank Reich. Couple more for you, Rob, before I let you go. Your reaction to the Jalen Ramsey trade going to the Dolphins. It was like one day Tyreek Hill's renegotiating his contract, and the next day, boom, Ramsey is in Miami.
Yeah, and you know what? The deal to me tells you like Jalen Ramsey's value. I think when you're only getting a 3rd round pick for him, it's dropped. He was traded a couple years ago in the middle of, was it the 19 season? In the middle of the 19 season or 20 season, whenever he was traded in the middle of that year, it was for 2 first-round picks. And here, just a few short years later, he's getting traded for a 3rd round pick. He's not the lockdown, shutdown, premier, elite top corner out there, but it's a good move for Miami. They had to solidify their defense. Byron Jones is going to be probably let go, and he's battled injuries too as well. So their big problem was defense last year, and we saw them collapse in some areas, and their secondary needed help. So you go out there and bring in Jalen Ramsey to pair up opposite Xavier Howard, and I think that's going to be an improvement. You look at the teams that they're going to face and the quarterbacks that they got to face, and you need solid corners, but I thought it was interesting. Plus, Jalen Ramsey kind of made it known, I feel like, that he wanted to go to the Miami Dolphins, and that right there also maybe impacts a little bit of his trade value if that's the only team he wants to go to. Now you got to accept a little bit less. So all that said, I thought that was one that was very telling, but an important deal. The Rams are in rebuild mode, and I wonder who's next from the LA Rams. I know they don't want to trade, or they said they don't want to trade Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, or Aaron Donald. But when you're in rebuild, you look to move anybody and anybody, especially to get those picks that just a few years ago they couldn't care less about.
Before I let you go, I got to bring up the quarterback position. Now, everyone's focused on Aaron Rodgers and Lamar Jackson, but we know that Lamar Jackson, nothing's probably going to happen with him until after 4 o'clock on Wednesday because of the way that works. And Rodgers is in Rodgers' world. So I want to ask you about somebody completely different. You know, we saw that Case Keenum just landed in Houston. We saw Jarrett Stidham go to Denver. We just saw Sam Darnold go to the San Francisco 49ers, by the way. You don't think Christian McCaffrey has something to do with that? Of course he did. I got to ask you, what does that mean for Baker Mayfield? I mean, the guy's a former number 1 overall pick, and he's just kind of floating in the wind right now.
Yeah, and I think he can end up in a place like Tampa Bay where they got Kyle Trask and they want to give him an opportunity, but you certainly got to bring in a veteran. And whether that's Baker Mayfield, whether that's someone else, I think Tampa's certainly going to do that. And Baker's going to be one of those guys right now who's got to go somewhere and prove himself all over again. And a 1-year deal for a team like that kind of makes sense. I look at some of the other opportunities when some of the teams draft young quarterbacks, but I wonder if you have a young quarterback, how does he fit with, like, you also want to have the right veteran to groom that guy. And I'm not so sure Baker Mayfield fits as the right veteran to groom, whether it's a guy in any of these teams, in Atlanta, in Carolina, in Houston while they go get Case Keenum, who is a guy who fits that mold, who you want, right? I just wonder if Baker Mayfield is that guy. So the fact that Tampa Bay had Kyle Trask under Tom Brady, who is the mentor of all mentors, maybe they can afford to have Baker Mayfield in and hope like, well, he's not going to undo anything that Tom Brady taught Kyle Trask.
It's going to be interesting. We still got a lot of time before a lot of this stuff is finalized. So Rob Maaddi will be all over it at Rob Maaddi on Twitter. Check out all of his coverage with the Associated Press, covering the NFL, the AP Pro Football Podcast, and, of course, Saturday mornings at 9 a.m., Faith on the Field here on 97.3 ESPN. Rob, hopefully in between all of this, you get some sleep, okay?
Absolutely, Josh. I'm just going to go make sure I don't call anybody up and bother them too many times right now as we are. But, hey, it's what it's all about, so it's fun.
Take care of yourself, my friend.
You got it.
And, of course, our conversation with Rob Maaddi being brought to you by Jenkins & Sons. One call does it all. No need to call the drain guy, the heater guy, or the plumbing guy. Jenkins technicians have got you covered. From new heating and air installations, service and maintenance, ductless air conditioning systems, water heaters, boilers, gas furnaces, leak repairs, I got you covered. 609-641-6440 and visit them online at jenkinsandsons.com. We'll get back to the text board on the other side. 609-403-0973 is text board, and your DMs in 973 ESPN. Mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle.
Tonight on ESPN Radio.
The win. Bang! Luka Doncic just won it for the Mavericks.
It's a Western Conference showdown in Big D. Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, and the Dallas Mavs continue their pursuit of a spot in the postseason, and of the Memphis Grizzlies on top of the Southwestern Division. The Memphis Grizzlies at the Dallas Mavericks. Coverage begins tonight at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
It's the NBA on 97.3 ESPN, your exclusive home for the NBA Finals.
Imagine all the possibilities of a $229 million Mega Millions win. You could buy your forever home, buy a new luxury car, plus one for all your friends and family. It's just that many millions. Anything can happen in Jersey.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Tara, quote, "My doctor wanted me to do saline rinses for my allergies, but I've never been able to successfully use a neti pot. Navage uses suction power, so it's foolproof. There are nights when I'll have particularly bothersome allergies. I'll bust it out, and the results are immediate. It's such a relief. It's become a lifesaver," unquote. She's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, Navage, clean nose, healthy life.
Introducing Total by Verizon, a new prepaid wireless provider with no contract plans starting at just $30 a month. With Total by Verizon, you don't have to sacrifice reliability or freedom. Get Total by Verizon and save money every month on America's most reliable 5G network. Most reliable 5G based on most first-place rankings and Root Metrics first half 2022 assessments of 125 metros. Experiences vary, not an endorsement.
Listen up, New Jersey and Philly car buyers. Matt Blatt Mitsubishi has only 3 questions for you. Do you have a job? Yes. Do you have 99 cents? Yes. Do you want a new car? Yes. Why would you buy a used car or pay high interest rates? If you have a job clearing $350 per week, Matt Blatt Mitsubishi wants to approve you. So bring any trade and drive home in a brand new Mitsubishi. Like the all-new 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander with 99 cents down and 0% financing for 36 months. Plus a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty for the price of most used cars with only 99 cents down. Matt Blatt Mitsubishi keeps the rates low, and with our 4-day love it or leave it return policy, you can't go wrong. Simply Matt Blatt Mitsubishi. Rate qualifications exist with approved credit. $27.78 per 1,000 financed on in-stock 2023 Mitsubishi Outlanders. Not all will qualify. Go to mattblattmitsubishi.com for complete details or call 844-946-2315. Price includes all costs to be paid by consumer, except for licensing, registration, and taxes. Expires 3/31/23. Matt Blatt Mitsubishi in the heart of Glassboro for 30 years.
3 people you should be 100% certain about: your barber, your plumber, Enter Tax Pro. Switch to Jackson Hewitt and you can be 100% certain about your taxes. We'll get you your maximum refund guaranteed and we'll back your return for life. Don't be kind of certain or almost certain. Be 100% certain. Switch to Jackson Hewitt today and get 50% off tax prep. Limited time offer for new clients filing at participating locations. Max value $200. Visit jacksonhewitt.com/50 for terms.
Bet365 is giving you more this March with a mega $365 in bonus bets. Simply sign up, bet $1, and unlock your $365 in bonus bets. Check out our Bet Boost, offered across every game of the college basketball tournament throughout March. Sign up today, bet $1 and get $365 in bonus bets, and make your March mega with Bet365. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 plus and physically located in New Jersey.
Are you working way too hard for way too little? There's never been a better time to consider a career in IT. You could enjoy a recession-resistant career in a rewarding field with plenty of growth opportunities and often flexible work environments. Go to My Computer Career and take the free career evaluation. You could start your new career in months, not years. Take classes online or on campus. And financial aid is available to qualified students, including the GI Bill. Now is the time. mycomputercareer.edu.
If you have an IRA or 401k, please listen closely. My name is Jason Hansen. I'm a former CIA officer and New York Times bestselling author. Throughout my career, let's just say I've been in some hairy situations. And I believe right now the biggest threat facing Americans is they need to protect their wealth, which is exactly what I'm doing for my wife and 6 kids. And I believe the ultimate safe haven is physical gold and silver. You can protect your hard-earned retirement assets with a tax-free loophole that allows you to convert your retirement into physical gold and silver. The folks I use are Advantage Gold, and believe me, I've investigated the heck out of all types of people. Advantage Gold is the nation's highest-rated gold company. They have the best process, pricing, and service. If you want to get your free gold and silver investment kit, please contact Advantage Gold right now, and you'll see how easy it is to protect yourself with precious metals. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000. 800-900-8000.
Advantage Gold is not an investment advisor or a tax advisor. Consult with your financial advisor before investing.
Call 800-900-8000.
First impressions are lasting impressions, and these days that's more important than ever. Before your potential customer ever sets foot inside your business, calls, or places an item in their online shopping cart, they've checked you out online because that's where commerce happens these days, even if there's a brick and mortar end to it. So when they looked you up, what did they see? Is your website compelling? Does it appear first when someone searches for your product? And does your website make the sort of impression that makes a customer want to engage with your business? Town Square South Jersey is ready to help your business grow. We have the online tools you need, from web design to making sure you show up in online searches. Town Square South Jersey even has the metrics to show how and when people are accessing your website, so you can maximize those first impressions. For a free local customer analysis where you can see how many local customers in South Jersey are looking for businesses like yours, go to townsquarelocal.com. Make your website work for you. Get started at townsquarelocal.com.
Purchase new wiper blades from O'Reilly Auto Parts today and we'll install them for free. See better and drive safer with O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I thought learning a language would be too much work. Then I discovered Babbel. They make learning fun. J'aime Babbel.
Babbel's lessons only take 10 or 15 minutes, quick and easy. And soon, you turn and realize, hey, I'm starting to speak another language. How'd that happen?
My friend from Italy said my accent and pronunciation is perfect. It's because Babbel's lessons are designed by language teachers and voiced by real native speakers. Each lesson is like living in another country for 15 minutes.
I love that there's all kinds of ways to learn. Babbel's podcast or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
You learn words and phrases you actually use in real conversations.
In 3 weeks, I was starting to speak in another language. So easy.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than Babbel.
Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Get in on all the action throughout the month of March with Madness Zone at the Gallery Bar Book and Games in Ocean Casino Resort. Take in the college basketball tournament with a panoramic view of all the games, a beverage in your hand, a bet placed on your favorite team, and an atmosphere like no other. Watch, bet, eat, and drink all tournament long at the Gallery Bar Booking Games in Ocean Casino Resort. For more information, visit theoceanac.com. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
All right, wrapping up the Power Hour here. Josh Hennig hanging out with you here on 97.3 ESPN. Over on the text board at 609-403-0973 to Dan in EHT, who says the Eagles are not a quarterback factory. They're an all positions factory. Go to the Eagles, you get paid sooner or later. Successful players and coaches go through the entire organization. I mean, that is a fair assessment. Look, the quarterback factory thing, I think, is something that I know people aren't going to let go of and let down for the Eagles, but Dan and EHC is right. You know, the Eagles have done a great job at developing. I think that's part of their sales pitch. I think for the Eagles, they look at guys like Marcus Epps, like TJ Edwards, and say, look, we developed these guys. They look at some of their draft picks who have worked out over the years, that we have made these guys into somebody's. We can do it again. We don't have to overpay every free agent. I think at positions, they have a track record of, like defensive line, they'll find a way to reload. It's just you don't want to see them reload the whole roster. You want to see them reload parts of the roster. I think that is really where it's at for this team. I still believe that they are holding out the money for some of these guys to bring them back, and we'll see how that plays out. I'm back on the Sports Bash tomorrow on 97.3 ESPN.
Time for an NCAA tournament schedule preview. March Madness is upon us with first 4 game action getting underway tonight and continuing on Wednesday from Dayton. Then on Thursday, 16 games, including number 1 seeds Houston, Kansas, and Alabama taking the floor, followed on Friday by the East Region number 1 seed Purdue joining the fray. Follow all the games and scores from across the country with Westwood One's exclusive coverage of the NCAA tournament right here
on 97.3 ESPN.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away.